everyone, this is Sylvain Rochon, Peaceful Revolutionary, and today I'd like to take a peek, or at least tell you a little bit about my research around the Keshe technology, which is also called the Magrav technologies. This guy's been making some pretty interesting claims, and his intentions are about revolution, so I'm interested. And his claims are also very interesting. He says to be able to show and distribute very widely that energy can be created from nothing in a traditional sense. I guess no gas, no electricity kind of input, or no physical movement like water, like for electrical plants or things like no fission or fusion. Inside a small, economically and environmentally safe and sound reactor you can put in your home very easily. It's about 1 kilogram or about 5 kilograms. It's very, very small, and you're generating this electricity. So he wants to spread that technology for free to everybody to essentially eliminate lots of the control issues with leaders essentially trying to control energy, trying to cause any issues, and also engender a world peace where individuals can make their own energies and take care of themselves as far as health and food are concerned, through the free use of electricity. So he wants to distribute these applications, these technologies, and he has all sorts of other technologies that are applications for the research he's done in the nuclear physics. Now, this man, he's sometimes you're going to see him on the internet. He's being called a doctor. From my research, he's not a doctor. He has a bachelor's of nuclear physics from nuclear engineering, I believe, from London University in England. So he's educated in around the field where he's working on, and he claims he's been talking about this and researching this for the last 40 years or so. And about 7 to 8 years ago, he started to apply for patents in London, and also he's been pretty busy at telling people, providing some insights and some instructions on how to build reactors to transfer electricity, to generate gravitational fields. He's been inviting people to spend money on his foundation, the Keshe Foundation, to reserve seats for space travel going to the moon using the technology. Since you're generating gravitational fields, you can theoretically, I guess, wrap that around some kind of spaceship or a car or anything like that, and go beyond the gravitational field of the Earth without feeling the effect of it, which is a big problem in space travel, is leaving the atmosphere and leaving the gravitational field of the Earth. And so all this stuff is kind of going on, and all this talk. So I decided to do significant research and download the information that he has freely available on his website. And he's been pretty straightforward as far as releasing lots of information, being generous with the information. I mean, there's huge amounts that I downloaded, about 1 gig worth of information. Some of his videos, which are heavy, but PDFs of patents and things like that. So that's all fine, well and good. And so, before I move forward, here's the promo video that I received as part of the package. You can go through, watch through that, and then we'll get back to you right after.
This video is a short introduction to the Keshe Foundation and its technology, which is intended to be shared with you and everyone around the world. The world's governments already know about this technology, and it is very important that you also know about it, since it will change your lives completely. The Foundation. The Foundation was founded by Mehran Keshe, born in Iran and graduated as a nuclear engineer at the University of London. For the last 40 years, his research has focused on the dynamics of electrically charged plasma as a source of energy and gravitational fields. The foundation is registered as a non-profit organization in the Netherlands and has its permanent base in Ninove, Belgium. Being a space organization, the Foundation's goal was the development of space technology such as transport, power generation, health systems, and nutrition for people traveling in space. This is how Mr. Keshe discovered how to produce and control gravitational fields. This discovery has hundreds of potential applications that could help solve most of the world's fundamental problems, such as shortages of energy, water, and food, and environmental contamination. The basic principle. It all starts with a new understanding of the creation of gravity and the ability to replicate it. When magnetic fields of similar strength interact, they can entangle into a larger dynamic spherical pack. As these dynamic packs in turn interact with each other, this creates gravitational and magnetic fields. Each magnetic field contains plasmatic components of the three basic types of matter: matter, antimatter, and dark matter. The interaction of these three matters results in a larger integrated dynamic system called the initial fundamental plasma, or the neutron. The neutron can decay into a proton and electron, with small fragments of the magnetic fields left over as light or energy. Note that this is not the model of physics taught at universities nowadays. However, such plasmatic magnetic conditions have been reproduced in simple plasma reactors during repeated experiments and tests, making it possible to turn a simple cola bottle into a plasma reactor. The discovery of these new principles enables us to generate and control energy and matter in different states as solid, liquid, and gas. Reputable scientists have assessed and accepted the feasibility of this method. For a more detailed explanation, visit our website and read our books. Health systems. As journeys in space will go further and last longer, space travelers will need a portable health system to help them recover from any type of illness. Human cells are made of a combination of plasmatic magnetic fields which form the structure of the atoms of hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen that are the building blocks of the amino acids in the human body. Our space health technology works directly with this plasmatic anatomic structure of the human body and shows it how to get back to its original state of health. The procedure works quickly with no tablets or injections and has no side effects. Numerous trials for this technology have been carried out with volunteers who had exhausted all other medical options. On our website you can see testimonies and videos of these trials: ALS, cancer, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson, and gangrene. Visit our website to learn more about other severe diseases that we have processed. A form is available for appointments at our health facilities in Belgium. Other applications. The applications of the technology can be used to solve the world's most urgent problems. Energy. With this technology, it is possible to produce batteries and plasma power generators of up to 10 kilowatts that need no fuel and thus provide clean and cheap energy. Transportation. Plasma reactors with double magnetic fields generate magnetism and gravity and can lift vehicles and ships. Also, space travel under conditions similar to those on Earth will be possible. Environment. Using the parallel magnetic attraction principle, our systems can decontaminate chemical and nuclear leakage and can clean up CO2 emissions efficiently while creating clean water. Other applications. In 2005, patents were filed for over 300 applications of this technology, such as the creation of conductive materials for industrial processes. Learn more about these on our website. The goal of this video is to tell everyone that technology exists, it is here, and it belongs to you. As a non-profit organization, Stichting, the Keshe Foundation is not owned by or dependent on any commercial organization or company. To ensure that technology is shared and to avoid chaos in the system, we seek to cooperate with governments willing to receive this technology and make it available to their people. Sad to say, we still encounter a lot of resistance of few powerful governments and corporations that feel falsely threatened by this technology. The foundation is peaceful, non-religious, and aims only to bring about new scientific knowledge, technologies, and solutions to the major global problems. It is important for you to know that it is your right to benefit from this technology. To do so, you can do the following 3 things. First, share this video so more people know about it. The more people know about this, the harder it will be to keep resisting or blocking the coming changes. Second, inform yourself further through knowledge made freely available on our website, video lectures, and documents. Third, ask the ambassador of your country in Belgium to attend our events and receive this technology so it can be made available to your country. A letter for this purpose is available at our website. The technology is here and its methods have been proven. This might sound too good to be true for you, but it still remains a fact. The technology is yours, so make sure you get access to it and help make a brighter future for us all.
Now, as you can see, he's making quite significant claims that are beyond what I thought would be more reasonable, which is the generation of electricity from magnetic fields, for example. That sounds fairly reasonable on the surface. And I did a little bit of digging as far as his patents are concerned. That yes, he has filed for patents in London. They were not accepted. And from what I can see directly from the EU Patent Office, they were the state of them since 2010 are deemed to be withdrawn, which generally means that hasn't sustained the payments to kind of keep them on file, so he's not really. They're not. There was an application done, but they're not filed and they're not in effect. There's 4 of them that I could see. So that kind of is a bust. Like, so the patents, I mean, if they're not accepted, it means they're not properly reviewed. He also mentions that he has a lot of papers that are published. And yeah, in a sense, they are published, meaning that they're available in book format you can buy. And they used to be available on the internet, like so published as far as you can get access to them. Now they are not, since you put them in book formats. They're only available if you buy the book, which I haven't done. Because more due diligence is necessary before I actually spend a dime on this guy, personally at least. So it's really hard to get information. He's issued a lot of videos. He's explained things verbally. He has provided a lot of blueprints, however, and as I'm not equipped here to actually reproduce the experiments, I've looked through the YouTube and found a number of individuals that have attempted, at the very least recently, to reproduce the blueprints and to generate electricity at the very least, or at least show gravitational fields or magnetic fields being formed. And one of them is fairly credible and a skeptic and well equipped, and he's published something about a week ago. Where things are running as in they are, the blueprint is operating, but it takes a while for the plasma to kind of start flowing on its own. So you don't really see results. You're not supposed to see any results right from the beginning. And he hasn't posted an update as far as is there actually something going on about a week later. So I don't know. So we'll keep an eye on that, because that would be independent validation of the blueprints, right? And that's good. I also have friends of mine, because he's actually selling units and they're deliverable in about 30 days or so. That's what it says on the website. And a friend of mine who's also interested in checking it out has purchased 2 or 3 units. I'm not sure how many of those generators, which are, from my understanding, they're not true generators in the sense that you generate electricity like independently, like directly. It's more of a generation from input. So you input electricity, let's say 2 kilowatt hours into it from your home, and then the output would be like 4 or 5, which means electricity is generated, but there's a little bit of input. So, which is fine. That's good. So he's going to be taking a look at that. Now, I have another friend of mine, which I haven't completely been able to discuss this fully with him, but he's a test engineer. So he's equipped to be able to dismantle and really look into the hardware to see what's in there, as well as do more significant testing on the units themselves. So we'll see if we can manage that as well. And the ideology here is that we want to check 2 things. We check the units themselves, do what they're supposed to be doing. And even before that, if my buddy in Montreal actually receives them, to see if there's any fraud in getting the money but not sending the units, for example, and delays. Because in the past, the Keshe Foundation has promised to send some units, and now they were always postponed, and I'm not even sure if people have received them so far. So we're doing our own test directly, see if we're going to receive them, see if they generate the results that are expected. And we're also going to see if there's any hidden technologies in there, like batteries or anything like that, that would essentially do the results, but without using the actual technology they're supposed to run the damn things. Because obviously you can have like batteries and things like that kind of hidden in the units, and they're completely safe to open. He says so himself. You can kick them around because it's solid, so we're going to open it up. Right? We're going to check it out for ourselves and do a complete analysis of the devices if they are actually they are working. So we'll have a few units to test. So we're going to be doing that. And in parallel, I'm kind of looking at this Mr. Keshe from just a reputation and kind of what he says, what he does, kind of point of view. And I mean, the Keshe Foundation, he says, was founded for a space program. So his interest was in gravitational fields. So he wanted to create something that would generate gravity, obviously, which is fine. And reserving seats for 50,000 euros for a space flight is not unlike raising funds like a Kickstarter. You kind of put your money there in hopes that it's going to be built, and it may or may not work. That's fine too, to me, although it is a little bit scammy, of course. But we'll see. And of course, if it does generate gravity, there's all lots of stuff that could happen that could be really, really interesting. You can imagine if we can eliminate the problems of gravity, like way many applications could come out of it. As far as transportation as well, like just transportation here, like on the planet. That would be huge. So we'll see about that. He says there's a lot of applications in health, and I've taken a look at that, and that's really weird shit. Part of what he's saying is that the plasma technology and the cycling of the magnetic fields and these things inside the tech, and there's quite a bit of explanation of how it works exactly. And the video you just saw not long ago actually explains some of it in the basic form, and there's more videos you can find on YouTube that actually explain it a little bit differently. But it's generally, you have when you're looking at laws of thermodynamics, there is equilibrium. The systems always try to balance themselves. So and it takes typically energy to unbalance, so that it tries to rebalance itself. That's the usual way of thinking. So his technology is, from what I understand, is you have an initiator, so you have to kind of kick it a little bit to get it started, which is also very, very typical. Very little amount of energy, which is fine. You can kind of get it started, and then it perpetually is supposed to keep going for 20, 30 years until some of the components maybe get damaged and start to break down. The unit would stop working for energy generation, at the very least. And that's good. The issue is that usually you have to keep putting energy in of some sort into a system to generate less energy. It's an inefficient, like usually you can have like 30 to 50% max conversion rate. So you input, let's say, 1 kilojoule of energy into a system, you're going to get half of that back out in a different, maybe usable format, which is the case of combustion engines and pretty much everything else, including solar panels, which are way less efficient. But so in this case, you're just initiating. It kind of starts rotating over a number of hours or weeks. I'm not even sure, until it gets up to speed, generates ultraviolet light, and there's like a set series of reactions that kind of keep things flowing and accelerating, which is interesting, but doesn't make a whole lot of sense scientifically according to what we know. He may have stumbled upon a very unique combination of events that do that, and kind of a chain react, a little bit like a nuclear reaction would chain react using plasma. Because nuclear reaction, like from a nuclear reactor, is that you initiate it, and then it does go on, and it can could blow up, like Chernobyl and things like that. So we have seen systems that do this, but typically these systems, like you're tapping into energies inside the atoms. You're actually breaking atoms, like in case of fission. So the energy that is usually contained is released. That's why you have chain reactions. And you got a bunch of neutrons kind of floating around. In this case, there's no such thing. There's no fusion, no fission. So you see what I'm saying? It's kind of it doesn't make sense from a traditional point of view, because the atoms kind of stay. I mean, they become plasma from what his explanations, which is free floating protons, neutrons, and electrons, and it creates a flow. But you're not really tapping into atomic, like a nucleus energies, like as in fission. So where does this energy come from to allow the plasma to perpetually kind of accelerate and get more movement? If it does move, and if there's some kind of effect where it kind of taps into some atomic or subatomic energies, then it becomes plausible that this thing would accelerate and self-perpetuate, and within containment, of course, hopefully, and kind of maybe balance itself out using external energies. Because as far as quantum physics are concerned, I mean, energies balance themselves out even at distances with other quantum particles. So, I mean, there's reason to believe that it could be possible scientifically. I mean, there's just not enough information for me to determine that it works. Like the reaction that I'm seeing, at least the examples are simplistic, and it's only electrons that are transferring, which falls into the traditional way of thinking of science, where you won't be efficient, and it's just gonna petter out. It won't sustain itself because we're not going into, you don't seem to go into the atomic energies inside nucleus that like the bonds between neutrons and protons, for example. So I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't know. There's the amount of information that is provided by the Keshe Foundation as far as how it works is very thin. You know, the actual research itself, like I would have to buy a book to actually get the research, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to look at. I might yet have to do that to actually see if there's any kind of credibility. When he mentions that he's published, I don't believe he's published in scientific journals. I wasn't able yet to find one of his articles published in scientific journals. That means it would be peer-reviewed by other nuclear physicists to see the validity of what he claims. It's not even there, so it really feels scammy. And going back to health, this is where I was going. This balance of energies in thermodynamics, he says, you can expose people to the magnetic and gravitational fields of the technology, and then it will help their body balance themselves. And a lot of people that are creating devices claim this going using magnets, using all sorts of stuff, and it's not something that works. The body doesn't work that way. I mean, I have a training in biochemistry, and just exposing a body to magnetic fields will not provoke any reaction, in a simplistic way or even a complex way that will, balance the body out. The balance is the body is already in a state of homeostasis, which is balance, and there's a lot of chemical reactions that are involved and that are balancing each other out to kind of keep us alive. And there's no evidence that shows that magnetic fields or gravitational fields would even help any of those complex small equations to generate health. He claims there's a bunch of people that were helped with strong diseases like cancer and things like that. I don't know. It's not double blind, so any kind of reason, people could be getting better because of the placebo effect, for that matter. It's not clear. You don't have a test group and and two test groups that are, one is giving the technology, the other one has been given fake technology, and doing the double blind. There's no such evidence of that. So again, any number of reasons people are getting healthier by being exposed with something they think will help them, especially if they're desperate. So that's kind of, you don't know. We haven't seen any example of gravitational manipulation except for one video where he shows just weights going down on a scale that can be manipulated really easily because you don't really see a whole lot. For decontamination, he mentions decontamination. Well, there's cleaning up CO2 emissions. That's part of the reaction of his chemistry, of his technology, and is very reasonable. Cleaning up CO2, making it water by combining with hydrogen and other compounds and plasmatic energies. Yeah, I can see that happening. That's not that far fetched at all. So there's all this stuff going on. The last thing I was reading is, and I read a letter from Dr. Keshe, or not Dr. Mr. Keshe, let's call him by his proper title, where he claims that he is the Messiah and that he had been living among us to kind of observe and live the life of a human, like the real human life, and now he wants the humanity to have world peace and to receive knowledge and technology of how the world really works, which is the actual research that he was doing. Kind of release that information to the rest of the world. But he claims to be a Messiah, like from the Bible, the Torah, and all these religious scriptures. Which, and if you look at also some of the claims he's done before, where he kind of says he's going to release something and doesn't, there's always an excuse and things like that. It makes me think that he may be a delusional individual, albeit perhaps a clever one. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can find on the web that he's claimed that are false, that are perhaps even lies, depending on how you see it. So my hopes are not super high. You can imagine. It looks, when something smells and looks like a fish, usually it's fishy. I could be pleasantly surprised that this man has stumbled upon and researched something that has value, that could generate some free energy. We know that Tesla's research, for example, part of it could produce energy from plasma and things like that. So there is some inklings of research out there that shows that this kind of ideology could end up into something valuable. Whether Keshe's plans and things like that and reactors are real and do what they're supposed to be doing, that remains to be seen. And as far as whether or not he's a Messiah, I mean, that's the question of belief, I think. Just like I believe Rael is the Messiah, because that's part of my belief system, my personal belief system. I spent 9 years studying what the guy did, and he did really peaceful things, and I still kind of follow everything that he's writing or everything he's doing, and I still believe he's the guy. Not a false prophet, or but the real one. But I mean, it's not like I can prove it. So that's a little part of me that is unscientific. I just believe the guy. I just think that he's it from the stories. Like, as far as Mr. Keshe, well, I would need to follow him a lot longer to see if he's a Messiah or Messiah-like person. Again, I want to be as reasonable as possible. But it does make claims seem less, especially these are scientific claims for science. I mean, Rael, he prophesizes, he says things, and he does a lot of teaching, but he doesn't claim that he knows technology more than anybody else, right? He does what he does. He's a teacher, right? Keshe is like, okay, I'm going to give you science. So the science, the tests themselves will prove him right or wrong directly. So when we get the devices and when we do our tests fully, and it may take a while because like the document says, the devices have to run for a while until you see some results. So we're going to see if we receive them. We're going to see if they actually won, and that's going to take maybe 1 or 2 months, I figure, before we actually are able to claim anything on that. So I'm going to do another blog when that is all done, and then we're going to report back as a part 2 video blog on all this stuff, and I'll do some more research around Mr. Keshe and the foundation since then, because there has been, like, October 16. There's an interesting thing. He did a conference where there were a number of ambassadors present. At least that's what is claimed. It's been on video, and you see a number of people, but that can also be faked, of course, with video and some of his followers. And he gave them a 10-day time period to release the information, because he gave them reactors. So 10 days to release plans and information to their populations. Otherwise, he's giving the information in a similar way, and he's going ahead with a production in Italy of reactors, and he's going to distribute that to Italy. He says, like hundreds of thousands of them, so that every Italian would have it. So he's saying all these things. October 16th. Right now it's October 25th. So next week, I put it in my calendar. I'm going to check out to see if anything is going on, any other release of information about this particular subject from the Keshe Foundation, and if there's actual some reactions from the ambassadors. There is a list. You can find a list of the ambassadors that were apparently present at this 3rd ambassadorial meeting where they received the devices. And a lot of them are from Africa, some of them in South America, small countries like Eastern Europe, apparently as well, a couple. Not that many, but I mean, we're going to see as time goes on. I mean, fraudsters that are really openly, providing technologies, things like that. Obviously, you can test if the thing works or not. You can open it up, you can check it out. So we're going to do exactly that. My take here is that even though it looks scammy, some of the science is perhaps plausible, even though we don't have all the information to really look at it properly. We have enough info or devices to be able to see if there's actually something there that can be leveraged. And Mr. Keshe could be just a very highly eccentric individual that seems to have very high and loving and peaceful ideas for the planet, which I really love, as you guys know. So, hey, he's a weird guy, eccentric perhaps, with some good ideas. And if that's the case, no problem. Keep being weird. I'm good with that. But let's see if the technology actually works in application first, and then from that point, whatever he says or whoever he is in his personal life, he can do whatever he wants. And we're going to have the technology widely spread, and other people that perhaps are a little bit more rigorous and regular can pick it up and do something very practical with it, instead of going through the Keshe Foundation, which is kind of flaky and weird. And we can do something. We could get somewhere perhaps with the technology itself. So we shall see. I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great week. I'm going to talk about some other subject next week, and we're going to get back to the Keshe technology in a little bit. Have a good